Do you want a body double with me while I make my daily collage in my planner? Cool. Whoops. Right now what I'm doing is I'm deciding whether I want to create a collage based around one specific feature, one sticker, and then to kind of build around that, or whether I would like to have a color scheme that I try to use throughout. So like green and purple. I kind of like these pieces. I also just really like this pigeon. This pigeon may run the show today. Another thing that I've been debating lately is whether I should start to incorporate drawn elements into my collages. And the reason that needs to be a decision is because it changes a lot of the process. And it unfortunately overwhelms me with options. So I don't always want to have the entire world as a possibility in covering up the parts of my planner that I want to cover. But maybe if I could limit myself to certain mediums. Would I do marker or would I do colored pencil? And at one point I was doing another part of my planner when I hadn't really organized myself to make this like a daily challenge. I was using linear perspective to draw little parts that were actually I just found one page that I had stuff in there. Where could I find that? I kind of like that style. I didn't even think about looking back to my other collages for inspiration. That's a good idea, Michelle. I wanted to kind of muse on a specific astrological thing. My Venus in my birth chart is in Virgo. I guess I won't find it. And Virgo, that's where it's at right now, Venus in general. And Virgo is all about like, as I've understood it, like being meticulous, planning, the details, getting the details correct, like the kind of daily routine. And when I am able to find ways to frame the experiences I've had in my life, it's really valuable to me. And astrology has been providing that for me since I've kind of let myself take it seriously. And I don't mean take it seriously in a way of like, yeah, I don't know what I mean, but I just mean that like I've let it inform the way that I see my narrative of my life. So Venus being in Virgo has really shown up for me in the fact that I have been making my daily routines my focus for the past couple years. It's actually been my focus for many years, ever since I didn't have school to create a focus for me. I made another post a while ago talking about my planner and how I have planners or notebooks from about 15 years ago when I went through a really tough time that's similar to this. It was a really intense autistic burnout, but I didn't know I was autistic at the time. I had the same like to-do list written down every single day, and it was very simple. It was like make art, go work out, eat food. And like I see it written down like over and over and over again, and I know that I wasn't able to do that. It was insanity, me doing the same things expecting a different result. And I have a lot of compassion and sympathy for that version of me who really was just trying her best to figure it out, but didn't have all the information to move forward in a way that felt successful. This past year, I have been like thrust into a like state of just having to figure it out on my own. Last year at this time, I was staying in different places, and each time that I would get to a place, I would try to be conscious of the way that I would settle in there, how I would take out my clothes, whether I would put them in the drawers, if it was like an Airbnb or a hotel. I would set up like what I now feel like people call like an altar, but it was just like, here's the cool things that remind me of who I am and what matters to me. And I would get out my tarot decks and like try to have them in a place that felt accessible, like I could go grab them if I wanted to, and like I could like look at them, admire them because they're so pretty, and also so that I could like use them and remember I had them, because for me ADHD brings with it the idea of like object permanence, which I also did a video about, where if it's out of sight it's out of mind, so I just forget I have these options. So Venus in Virgo to me has meant that wherever I can, in the smallest, most mundane ways, finding a way to customize that part of my life to be pretty, to be attractive. That one comes from Atomic Habits by James Clear. For me, it's helped me to acknowledge and be aware of the value that that specific task brings to my life. In the past, growing up, I never could get it right. I could never keep my room clean. I could never remember all my stuff. So all the things that were required to take care of myself felt like huge burdens that I didn't want because I could never do it right. And so having success in this past year in terms of being able to stay on top of my laundry and to not have things build up to a point where it's like unbearable for me to like clean my area. That has taken a lot of conscious effort, but that's not it. It's not just that I tried harder and it worked finally. I got information about how I function, and I started to use that information instead of using the shame that had been kind of put on me my whole life to be something other than I was. And that's actually how I was able to find a sense of flow that like really worked for me too. I didn't do anything for my collage, so I'm going to stop talking now and I'm going to go do that. Thanks for hanging out with me. Okay, this next part's just the actual working on the collage. It's the ASMR of me putting stickers onto paper. I want that to be covered. What if I just cut off its feet? There's something that feels very annoying about this collage. Like I like it, but I don't. Doing it. Sorry, buddy. Yeah. Okay, and then I'm actually gonna scooch ya. We're gonna be a little more functional today in terms of covering up. No. Do I want to incorporate this on the other side? Do I? Where was that? It was a full page one. Ooh, there's a lot of patterns on that page. Did I look at this one? I did. There we are. guess that's where it's ending. Do I? No. But do I do it there? And then break off this one? Yeah. Yeah. Put that one there. This one started with this piece here. Then I was debating a bunch of other pieces, but at a certain point you just kind of gotta go for it. So I put the octopus on this side, and for some reason I just got really kind of bold and I just started putting these extra like negative space pieces there. Oops, negative space pieces here. And then I started playing with these. These were going horizontal first, and then they were over here, hanging from here. And then I looked for some more of them, but I couldn't find them. So I was like, okay, well, these are there. And then I just saw this, and it just really spoke to me, this big egg. Pigeon needed to be there. Pigeon wanted to be a part of this. I don't know, am I done? I think what initially kind of annoyed me about this is how this and this are similar sizes. And when I'm working with that's something that I really like to have, is a lot of variation in sizes to create a sense of like an emphasis on one area. There is a nice balance on this. There's like, you know, there's a flow over here. All right, we're calling it.